The auditorium fell silent the moment Ms. Reynolds raised the certificate high in her hand. Cameras rolled. Applause faded. She turned to the girl beside her, a quiet black student in a pressed school uniform, and sneered, "This certificate doesn't belong to you." Then, in one sharp motion, she tore it in half on live television. Gasps rippled through the audience. Amira Johnson didn't cry. She didn't flinch. She just stood there, hands folded in front of her, eyes locked on the shredded paper at her feet. Her silence was louder than any scream. Ms. Reynolds, lips pursed, continued her rant. "We verify our winners. There must have been a mistake. This award was meant for excellence, not pity." Some in the crowd exchanged looks, but no one intervened. The camera zoomed in on Amira's face, calm, composed, but her left hand trembled slightly. From the wings of the stage, a man in a dark suit shifted. He hadn't planned to come on yet. But now, he watched with narrowed eyes. Behind the scenes, a production assistant whispered into a headset. Something had gone terribly wrong. And Amira? She bent down slowly, picked up both torn halves of the certificate, and folded them gently. The crowd murmured. But she said nothing. Someone had seen everything. And they were about to step forward. Backstage, murmurs grew tense as the producer glanced between monitors. One screen showed Ms. Reynolds basking in the awkward silence. Another showed a suited man now walking toward the side stairs. He held a dark leather folder, and his jaw was tight. Amira sat quietly on the edge of the stage, fingers smoothing out the creases on the torn certificate. A corner had fallen off, she slipped it into her pocket like something sacred. Her eyes drifted to the audience, but she didn't meet anyone's gaze. 10 seconds passed. 20. Then, from her pocket, something else slipped and clinked softly on the wooden floor, a silver lapel pin, shaped like a laurel wreath. A few students in the front row recognized it instantly. One of them leaned toward another. "Wait, isn't that from the National Academic Alliance?" Flashback. Weeks ago, Amira stood in front of a panel of judges. No cameras. No applause. Just math, science, a logic puzzle timed to the second, and her voice, soft, clear, brilliant. She solved the final round blindfolded. One judge whispered afterward, "She's a prodigy." Back in the present, the man in the suit reached the stage steps. The host looked up, confused. Ms. Reynolds turned toward him and frowned. But Amira? She remained still, except for the slight turn of her head. She knew that voice. And she knew what was coming next. The man stepped into the spotlight without waiting for an introduction. His voice was measured, but each word hit like a gavel. "My name is Dr. Raymond Ellis. I'm the Executive Director of the National Academic Alliance. And I'm here to correct a mistake, just not the one you think." The room froze. Ms. Reynolds stiffened. "Sir, this student wasn't on the final list." He cut her off with a raised hand. "You're right. She wasn't on the list, because she was the only name above it." Gasps echoed. Amira Johnson didn't just qualify, she won first place out of 12,000 applicants across the country. He turned to Amira, opened the folder, and pulled out a new certificate, signed, sealed, and laminated. "We were going to announce this next week. But after what I just witnessed, it deserves to happen now." He extended the certificate toward her. "Congratulations, Amira. You earned this with brilliance, not permission." She stood, walked to him slowly, accepted it with both hands, and whispered, "Thank you." Then she turned back to the audience, held it up, and said nothing more. Silence. Even the cameras didn't pan. Ms. Reynolds stepped back, ashamed, her face flushed. And Amira, now holding the very thing once torn from her, stepped down from the stage, not to flee, but to rise. The power wasn't in the paper. It was in the girl who never let go of her worth. Amira walked quietly past the cameras, the lights, and the stairs, her head high, the certificate pressed against her chest like armor. She never asked for pity, only fairness. In a world that tried to silence her, she let her silence speak louder. Stories like hers remind us that dignity doesn't shout, it endures. If this story moved you, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more real moments of justice and truth. Some victories aren't loud, they're just undeniable.